Hey everyone, welcome to Reddit Readout. Today we are checking out Malicious Compliance. Story 1. Don't accuse my brother of stealing and don't discuss the situation with him again. Okay, I can do that. TL/DR at bottom. This story took place many years ago. I was in my late teens. One of my older brothers had moved out of the house a while back and moved in with a girlfriend who had a kid around age 7. I'll call my brother Bobby, not his real name, his girlfriend Mama Bear, and her kid will be Kiddo. As a late December baby I would get my Christmas gift and be told it's also my birthday gift, then just get something really small at my birthday. Gee, thanks. So most years I was shafted compared to what my siblings got. But I never complained. But this one year, I was given a Sony Walkman. Yeah, it was that long ago. Then couple days later for my birthday I got a battery charger with rechargeable batteries. It was actually fair for once, because the Walkman and charger together were probably worth the same as each of my siblings got for Christmas and birthday put together. But Bobby got really jealous and would complain to me it wasn't fair. He was constantly on my case about it. I told him it was for both gifts and to just lay off, but he remained angry. Eventually he stopped, but I didn't realize how jealous he was, or that he was holding a grudge. Flash forward a few months. My Walkman is missing. My room is always a mess, so I assume I misplaced it. But I really can't find it. I get scared that I've lost it somewhere outside the house, so it's gone forever. Then I notice my battery charger is also missing. And remember how jealous Bobby was. He still came to the house every other day, so next time he's over, I ask if he took it. He hotly denies it, tells me I probably lost it. Since the charger's missing too, I know that's not the case. My other sibs couldn't have it in the house without me knowing, plus he's the only one that acted jealous. The next couple of times Bobby comes over I go at him again, he still denies it. I can tell he's lying. We yell and argue. My mom gets sick of it. She tells me to stop accusing Bobby of stealing my Walkman. I protest that I know he took it. She tells me not to speak with him about it again. So now I'm really annoyed. Not long after that, at a family dinner, Bobby brings Mama Bear and Kiddo. The other siblings are all around. All I can think is Bobby stole my Walkman. But I'm not allowed to accuse Bobby of stealing my Walkman or to speak with him about it. So I turn to Kiddo, and in a happy, excited voice I ask, "Hey Kiddo, did Bobby get a new Walkman?" Kiddo's face lights up, she smiles, she's super excited. "Oh, yes, he did," and then she trails off and her face drops and she looks guilty. And you can just tell that she's just done something she wasn't supposed to. The whole family heard this. My mom told Bobby to give it back. He begrudgingly did. The funny thing? He didn't give back the charger, claimed he never took it. We argued more, he insisted he didn't have it. A while later I found the charger. If the charger wasn't missing, I wouldn't have been so sure he took it and I probably would have backed off, so seems messy room also paid off. One thing I want to add, I realize it put Kiddo in a difficult position, but Bobby wouldn't dare mess with Kiddo because of Mama Bear, aside from maybe telling her not tell me he got a new Walkman. Since Mama Bear saw this all happen, she knew what was going on. They broke up not too long after that, but I have no idea why, or if this played any part. TL/DR, Walkman went missing. I accused brother of stealing it. Brother and I argued. Mom told me to stop accusing him of stealing it. So instead, I asked brother's girlfriend's 7-year-old daughter if my brother got a new Walkman, and she confirmed he did. Mom heard this, and made him give me back my Walkman. Story 2. Airline tried to charge me for their transaction processing fee of 1%. Instead I had it so they paid 5% and I paid 0%. I purchased some tickets online from a well-known airline. When going to make the payment, they offered me a few options with different transaction processing fees. 0.97% for payments with a credit card. 0.55% for payments with a debit card. 0.97% for PayPal and PayPal Pay in 4 transactions. 0% if you do an interest-free payment plan with a well-known buy now, pay later with no interest * company. * There is a $10 a month account fee if you have a balance owing at the end of the month, no fee if you don't. So what I did is take the interest-free payment plan. There is nothing stopping you paying this off early. I immediately paid it off in full so that I would not get the $10 monthly account fee, so I literally paid nothing except the cost of the tickets. If you know how these interest-free things work, technically there is interest, but, assuming the customer pays on time, the merchant pays for it, not the customer. I looked a bit later on and it seems this company charges the merchant 5%. So unless this airline has some really good arrangement, they probably got a 5% cut taken from them, and I never paid any transaction processing fees. Side note, they did offer another 0% service fee option with another company, who acts as a middleman between you and your bank. This company literally requires you to give them your internet banking username and password, which I absolutely will not do. This company also announced they are withdrawing this service this year. Story 3. Wearing short shorts to the gym even after being asked to stop. So I am a big guy. I work out daily. I go to 3 gyms regularly. I wear and have worn what we lovingly call ranger panties. They are short shorts. Think Magnum Pie. I usually get attention for this, but it's usually just old men that roll their eyes. Occasionally women stare. Nothing out of control. I've been doing it for years. Well, recently a woman joined my gym that seems obsessed with my legs. She will walk over every time she sees me. Well, her husband came with her the other day. He proceeded to have a mental breakdown over his wife talking to me. He came over and asked if I thought my shorts were appropriate. I responded by asking him not to objectify me for being beautiful, which made him very mad. Staff got involved and asked me to cover up for a little while. I said sure. So the next day I came in smaller shorts but with a long sleeve shirt. He was with her and lost his mind. When staff came again to talk to me, I said I had been working out like this here for years. I've also seen women wear a hell of a lot less. So I would not be changing anytime soon. Which they just shrugged it. So Reddit Ida? Update: if you want to see my legs, they are now my profile pic. Story 4. My dad told me to just walk home, so I did. I just remembered this old story of mine earlier today and thought it would be fun to share. I'm not 100% sure that this qualifies as malicious compliance since it wasn't intended to be at the time, but I'll let you readers be the judge. A long time ago in the faraway year of 1999, I was a young 11-year-old boy finishing my last year elementary school. Right before my birthday, which was in May, my parents called the family together for a meeting. They told us my mom had gotten a new job and we would need to move. We weren't moving too far away, only about an hour, but that still meant moving away from my friends and going to a completely different middle school than the one I thought I'd be going to. Elementary school wrapped up and we moved to our new house in early July. In August, my parents and I got to take a tour of the school and meet the principal and some of the teachers. That was when we learned that there weren't any buses that passed our new neighborhood. It was actually close to the school, so that meant I would be walking to and from there every day. My parents weren't too thrilled about this, but it was only 15 to 20-minute walk and there was a path, so they came around on the idea pretty quickly. At the time, both of my parents worked full-time and 5 days a week. My mom worked Monday through Friday and my dad worked Monday through Thursday and Saturday. Trust me, this is relevant. Since my older sister was away in college full-time and they didn't trust me and my brother alone, my parents found a babysitter to be there when my brother and I would get home and watch us until my parents got home. My brother was 2 years younger than me and in the local elementary school. The school year started and in early September, we got a massive heat wave that reached highs of like 96 degrees for a couple days. The middle school was also an old building and most of it was not air-conditioned. I only had 2 classes that had AC in the classroom throughout the day. At the end of those days, I was tired and not in any mood to walk an additional 20 minutes in the heat before getting home, so I used vending machine snack money to call the babysitter from the payphone. Cell phones were definitely not used by kids in those days. The babysitter, thinking he was just not letting me suffer in the heat, came to pick me up and I would do some homework before Batman Beyond and Pokémon came on. I did try to call home 2 more times over the next 2 weeks when it was hot. The second time I got the sitter again, the third time I called was on a Friday. My dad answered. He was not happy with me. He told me it wasn't that hot, 85 that day, that I shouldn't call the sitter away from the house and that I had to start growing up. He told me to walk home and we would talk more when I got there. So I walked home. I got a lecture and was told to not call the sitter again to be picked up. I said okay and told him I wouldn't call the sitter or him again to be picked up. 2 weeks later, at the end of September, a hurricane passed through the area. Halfway through the day at school it really started coming down. It got so bad that they let us out of school a half hour early, like that was gonna save us. By this time though, a lot of roads were flooding and the line for pay phones was long. I remembered what my dad told me a couple weeks ago, so I walked home. It took me almost 30 minutes to walk home from school that day and I was drenched by the time I got home. The rain was coming down so hard I couldn't see more than 5 feet in front of me. The roads were so flooded that the only way to drive in was with a car that had 4WD. When I got home, both my parents, Mom got out of work early due to the storm, were there panicking because they hadn't heard from either the school or me. I just walked in through our garage, soaking wet and said hi Mom, hi Dad, I'm home. After they got over the initial shock and relief of seeing me home. My parents and I had this conversation. Mom, how did you get home? Me, I walked. Mom, why? Me, Dad told me to. Mom, when? We didn't get any calls from you or the school today. Me, well, a couple weeks ago, I called the sitter a few times and asked for a ride home since it was hot. The last time I called, I got Dad. He told I had to just walk home from now on and not call for a ride again. Dad, I implied that there could be exceptions. Me, you didn't say that. My mom turned on my dad and just told me to dry myself off and put my wet clothes in the dryer. I was drying myself off and I could hear them arguing. It was louder than the rain. When I was done and put my clothes in the dryer, my parents talked to me and told me I was allowed to call home but only for emergencies. The next day, Saturday, my dad took me out to Blockbuster and I was told I could rent up to 5 movies for myself. He also paid for pizza that night and I got a whole pepperoni pizza for myself. That pizza lasted 2 days and no one else was allowed to touch it. My dad never lived that down. Good times. That's all for today. Please don't forget to like and subscribe.